When I started here, none of these trees stuck up this far. They were way back down there. This is basically the 7th floor of the parking garage. They used to have a 7 on the staircases over here, but when they repainted everything, they left the numbers off the top staircase. So I call it the 7th floor, and people call me crazy because the elevator back there only goes up to 6. So there's a McD's right over here at McDonald's, and they were gonna, well, they had the whole interior all tore up for a couple of months. So you couldn't go into the lobby, but you could go through the drive-through. Don't want to get started on that little disappointment. But they redid the inside so that there's a little more space for people to sit. But one of the main things I noticed is they did behind the counter. They did the counter itself, and they're putting in this little open area, and they have one of those automated kiosks coming in. I've been reading here lately that there's all kinds of conspiracy theories behind the $15 minimum wage. I mean, people think, well, it's to give people a better life when they come into they do these jobs. You can't pay somebody not enough to live on, that sort of thing. Well, anytime you artificially raise wages, all you're really doing is causing inflation, because when you make a company pay more for an expense, which is labor expense, they only make money. They only get money back from their customers. So they have to pass it on to customers. That's why you hear these things like, oh, there's a new tax, blah, blah, blah. Is it going to get passed on to the customers? Well, no shit it's going to get passed on to the customers, because unless they just shit money, it's going to get passed on to the customers, because that's the only place companies get their money, is from customers. So yeah, every dime, every nickel that you charge on one end is going to have to continue through the system and go out the other end, and you're getting pull money in from the other end. There's nothing you can do about that. It's just the way the world works. So that has always upset me. Is this such and such going to be passed on to the customer? Yes, everything gets passed on to the customer. And then the customer is in turn going to pass that on by either not buying those products because they can no longer afford them, or buying someone else's products who somehow got away without doing or finding competition for said products. People who have made them have come along and done something new and made it cheaper. But I mean, so they're putting in automated kiosks at this McDonald's. I've used one somewhere else, and it worked. I think it was over here at the Wendys. Also had one for a while. I think they took it back out. That is a training Wendys, I found out over here. So they actually have extra room in the Wendys for training new people for restaurants. And they had a kiosk in there for a while, and I used it, and it worked. I'm legally blind, and if I was able to use it and order my food and get my stuff, anybody should be able to who can read. And it had multiple languages and gobs of pictures. I imagine that even if you were illiterate, you could still get yourself something to eat if you had valid money through that kiosk system. And it is gorgeous. We've had a couple of gorgeous days here recently. It's 59 degrees, I think it said before I walked out here. There's just an ever so gentle breeze, and if you're in the shade and that breeze blows, it's a little chilly. If you're out here in the sunshine, it's gorgeous. Oh my gosh, this is like, I don't know, Midwest weather. I'm in Houston, Texas, and we don't get very many of these days. And it's supposed to pour down rain all weekend and not be nice. And I'm like, I remember when I was in middle school, we had this fun day towards the end of the year, and we had to postpone it, and the principal said, well, anytime we postpone these things in the past, we always say, well, next Friday we'll have the fun day, but inevitably whenever you set it for, it rains and it's nasty weather. So instead of doing that, the next nice day that it's a school day, we'll have this fun day that we have. And the fun day consisted of like a little carnival scene thing where you could just run around and act like a kid and do little carnival, little fun games. You throw darts at a board. I remember we popped balloons with darts. We actually had darts, and we'd throw darts at a board and pop balloons and stuff. So, this is back in the 80s, back when they trusted human beings with darts, pointy things. But I know we couldn't get away with that today. So, back in my day, and I don't think anybody lost their eyes.